Hi everyone. Sometimes being in kennels for longer can be hard on a greyhound, especially if it means they have to cope with things they find difficult on a daily basis. Now recently I've been trying to help one such greyhound to give him a better chance of finding a home. His name's Floppy and he's been in kennels for a year now. So he arrived at about age 3. He had his 4th birthday last September, and so he's now rapidly moving towards being 5, which means he's gone from being quite a desirable age to being classed soon as an older dog, which can put people off in addition to his long stay in kennels. He actually has a fabulous personality. He's super friendly and cuddly, and he loves people. He's everyone's best friend. And if there's nothing going on to upset him, he's extremely responsive to his handler and loves to check in with them and to have a good lean. When Floppy first arrived at the kennels, he appeared to cope quite well with his initial exposure to the outside world. But as time has gone on, he's become increasingly anxious. So why should this happen? Why is he getting worse, not better? Ultimately, I think Floppy finds kennel life stressful. He's in an environment with other breeds because he's at a boarding kennels, and he has to cope with them on a daily basis. This usually means that he is almost always at the point where it's about to become too much for him, where he can't cope. And when this happens, he starts barking. And it appears as if he's barking at nothing and everything. He's not directing it at the other dog, he's just barking. And it's almost as if he's just saying, help, help, help. He finds other greyhounds difficult, not just other breeds, and he has had issues with some of the more confident greyhounds at the kennels. So he's now finding it difficult with any dog that he feels is a little bit threatening to him or scary. So what am I doing to try and help this dog? I felt Floppy needed some time to experience life in a more positive way, which would reduce his stress instead of adding to it. This is really difficult at the kennels because there is so much that he finds stressful there. So I've been looking to take him away from that kennel environment and take him away for longer to places where he doesn't have to be so close to other dogs he doesn't cope with. We've looked at walking routes where we have plenty of options to avoid getting into situations he finds difficult. And I've been slowly introducing him to my greyhound so that he can enjoy spending time with other dogs that he finds enjoyable rather than stressful. So on his days out, I've arranged for someone to bring him over to my house. I walk Gandalf before they arrive because Gandalf's issues are not very compatible with Floppy's issues. And when Gandalf gets back, Floppy arrives and my other dogs go for their walk with Floppy. So he gets a bit of moral support from them and he's in a neutral environment in which to meet them. He then is having some supervised time in the garden with my dogs. And we manage the numbers very carefully so it's not overwhelming, so maybe they take it in turns as to who comes in and then build up from there. This last one has been a bit tricky, especially given Gandalf's very particular needs. Yes, given your needs. So at first we did a rather distant introduction, but we've now been able to move on over 3 visits to having them together in the garden. And I think the fact that Floppy is not really bothered about Gandalf's attitude says a lot about what's going on. It's about the nature of the other dog. So it appears that Floppy is aggressive in other situations, but in actual fact he is feeding off the energy or the vibes that he's getting from the other dog. He can see that Gandalf isn't a threat, even though he's being a bit of a bolshy one himself. So I then need to support Gandalf so he finds it manageable as well, because we don't want to upset him. And we need to keep the whole thing short so that no one gets overwhelmed. I found that it's very useful to spend a little time grooming him because Floppy has got the thickest, fluffiest kennel coat you can imagine, and this needs brushing out. And also grooming is a soothing thing for him. So this is quite a good activity for us while we're in the garden. At the moment I can only do this once a week, but hopefully it will be enough to see some changes, and other people at the kennels are working with him as well. And fingers crossed I'll be able to do another video with him soon to show you how he's getting on. But that's all for today. We'll be back again soon. Bye for now. Look out for new videos every Monday, and why not subscribe so you don't miss out.